Okay, thanks for coming, guys. And we'll talk about something today that if you really master this, we'll have the power to give you everything you want in life. I mean, really, that's what this will do. And if you fail to master this, it will be a plague that will probably be a hidden plague in your life. And the dangerous part about this is you won't even know it's there. But trust me when I say this, it's there. And I talked to Josh. I said, hey, what do we need to train on? And he goes, talk about beliefs, limiting beliefs, and helping people find limiting beliefs and clearing limiting beliefs. Because the reality is, we can all talk about it, right? I think everybody knows enough about it to have a conversation on the phone with somebody about a limiting belief, which is good, and that's what gets us sales. But it's a very different experience from taking it from intellectual knowledge to practical application in your day-to-day life. So I really came up with just a few questions that I'll brainstorm with everybody here today, and I'd like to get your thoughts on it. One, how do you find a limiting belief? Number two, once you find it, how do you clear a limiting belief? I guess we could add, and really define what a limiting belief is. Some people are new, and we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page with our definitions. And I guess the third thing that I'd look at is, wouldn't it be cool if we all had an accountability partner? Somebody that could be a friend, could be somebody who you ask them to call you out on your stuff. And that's the job of the accountability partner. They hold you accountable, but also when they see a block, when they kind of see, bro, you're going through your patterns here. Something's coming up. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody can call you out on it before it turns into a month of stagnation? Do you know what I mean? Because how many of us are willing to admit that we probably can't see it? And that's the dangerous thing, right? And what if somebody with a trained eye could do that? And of course, we have our coaching sessions, which are great. But even catching it even before you let a whole week go by, where maybe our productivity is low, our energy is low, and all that. I look at what we do as far too important to let our off days impact the rest of somebody else's life. And I don't know if any of us really think of it that way, as one off day could mean that one person doesn't get their chance to transform.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do.
And it's not that we're not, it's like what Brendan Burchard once said to everyone in a room. He goes, it's not that you're not good. I want to honor all of you, because you're putting up huge numbers, right? It's not that you're not good. It's that you're not on consistently enough, right? So it's good. It's just getting that consistency. And what will often get in the way of consistency are limiting beliefs. And us not thinking, because what are some common limiting beliefs that we hear on the sales floor that impact performance? I mean, let's just get them out there. Because I think labeling them. Okay,
Not good enough.
I'm not good enough.
No one's answering.
Nobody has any money.
Okay, no money.
No time.
No answer. No answer. What else?
Coaching costs too much.
Well, that's their limiting belief, right?
Sometimes it's our
But sometimes it's the sales.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's the
right.
sales? Okay.
Yeah.
So it costs too much. I like to look at people that have some life experience, because if there's one thing that I think has benefited me really well is having maybe a tiny bit of wisdom to where I admit that I don't know everything. and look at people that know more than I do, and people that have what I want, and I model them. But for those of you that, and I'll just ask some people with some life experience, some good life experience, how much of your limiting beliefs cost you over your lifetime?
Huh. Okay.
What do you think?
Well, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, I shared with you in our coaching.
I
It's
know, that's why
almost
I asked the question.
the one that I really got to this past Christmas has cost me almost my entire life. And I'm not telling you how old I am, because most of you think I'm about 45, hands in the air. Hands in the air! Thank you.
I got 29.
And it brings tears to my eyes, because it's that awareness that when I discovered it, it was so hidden. It was so hidden from my view, and it's cost me my entire life.
Had you learned this at, say, 17?
Oh, gosh.
What-
Where is Trinity?
Give me-
Trinity! What did I tell you?
Okay. How much would this be worth to you had you
Oh
learned
my
this at
gosh,
17
there's no
years old?
price tag. There
Yeah.
is no price tag.
So,
There is no price tag.
for those of you maybe with maybe a little bit less life experience, take it from somebody that is looking back
Yeah,
and saying, this is what this cost me.
yeah, it's cost me so much.
And so anyone who thinks it's too much money,
Mhm.
look at the alternative. I think what costs a lot is ignorance.
Yeah.
Ignorance is the root of all suffering.
So, in the late 1980s, early 1990s, I wrote the first business plan for a handheld portable voice-controlled computer. My
So-
limiting beliefs. Now, how big is the smartphone market today?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Are we talking, 50 billion plus?
Mm-hmm.
How much does that cost?
Yeah. So it costs too much. What are the limiting beliefs come up? I mean, let's just get them on the table. What are they? What else?
Self-worth.
Well, there's that.
Self-worth.
Well, fear. I mean, fear is huge. Fear
Fear
of
of
taking any
rejection.
kind of action
Fear.
at all. You know?
Rejection.
Mhm.
How many of you have just noticed that just by becoming aware of what's going on,
Mhm.
it can neutralize it?
Mhm.
Just
Oh,
an
yeah.
awareness.
Oh, yeah.
My mentor would always call that just shine the light of consciousness on whatever problem you're having. Just hold it in your awareness. We call that labeling. What else comes up? Just all of them?
Well, I mean, people could
Leads
complain
on
about the
it.
leads. I don't see that up there.
leads. Oh, it's not the right lead. What if we stopped focusing on leads and started focusing on that's an individual? It doesn't matter what name is behind that phone number,
Mhm.
but that's an individual, and any individual can be convinced and
It's always
influenced.
been a concern.
Is that not the
So
truth?
Even when there's good leads, when there's been downfalls, there's this, there's a mindset about leads anyway,
Yeah.
and the only way to really get past that is what you just described, is that it's just an opportunity each time. It's not even about who it is.
It's not about who it is.
So,
But that's not for me to believe. It's for you to believe.
Mhm.
It's a person on the other end of the phone. It's not. Stop looking at them as a lead. Think of everyone as people. People are people.
Mhm.
And if you're good at working with people, you could be calling numbers in the phone book and make sales. You really could. So, I guess my next question. So, any other limiting beliefs? Because I think these are big. Any other big ones? That was a big one. What else comes up? How many of you have fallen into that trap of, oh, it's a lead? And what happens to your reality when you start buying into that?
it drops.
How many of you have chosen to not buy into that and actually have seen sales go up because you just ignored it? Said, people are people. I've got a number, I've got a name. I'm going to call them. I'm going to talk to them about what I have. Okay.
Foreigners.
What?
Foreigners.
Foreigners.
Foreign
They're not-
numbers.
Foreign numbers.
Easy, bro.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know if low energy is one or not. but I
Then
know
you
that.
gotta talk about engineering.
Low energy?
I don't know if that's sleep or not, but I know that that low energy.
Well, it's what's causing the low energy, right? What's the belief that's creating the reality?
Yeah,
So what would be the belief?
to me, for me anyway, is stress.
Yeah, stress.
Outside of here, the stress.
So, bringing outside stuff into work, right? It's how many of us are here right now? Some of you, 80% of you are here. What's with the 20% that didn't raise their hands?
How many of us have thoughts going in and out?
How many of us realize that right now I'm competing with the voice inside of your head?
Oh, yeah.
I have to compete with that. Tell the voice to shut up and listen. Okay? Because here's the thing, we all compete with that little voice. And the question is, how much money is that little voice making you? And if it's making you money, good money, then by all means ignore what I'm saying. But if it's not, does the possibility exist that there's one thing you could take away from today that would expand your reality, your vision, help you achieve more? So how do you become aware of this? I mean, we know all these exist, and I think all of us have had all of these beliefs at one time or another.
And
Is that
sometimes-
true?
And sometimes
Can
still
you
do.
identify with all these?
They still turn
And they still
up.
come up.
Yeah.
It's like, I've worked on this one.
So it's gone.
I worked on that one.
Yeah, no,
And we kind of look at limiting beliefs as a one and done deal. It's like, oh, cleared it.
That's what I thought.
How many of you thought limiting beliefs work that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that.
It's been a lot of
I've been
time.
proven wrong.
How many of you know that's not true? I mean, think of it this way. Here's the metaphor that I'll kind of plant inside your heads. Imagine a gardener. He goes out and he weeds his garden one day.
I like that one.
And he comes back and he goes, wow, I'm so glad I don't have to do that again. Or imagine brushing your teeth once. Oh, God, that's over with. Right? This clearing limiting beliefs is not a one and done deal. It never has been. It never will be. Just like working out's not a one and done thing. I got to work out every morning, which I do. But I got to do it every single morning. It's not a one and done. It's all the time. So what if you had the mentality of remembering your ABCs? Anybody know what ABC stands for? Always be
Always be
Clearing.
closing.
I like that one too. Always
Well, in
be
sales we
clearing.
say always be closing, but I changed it to always be clearing.
I like that too.
Always. I mean, when was the last time you cleared a limiting belief?
Hold on.
How many thoughts do we have on an average day?
80,000 or so.
It's about 80,000 thoughts. Of those 80,000 thoughts, how many are negative? 70%. If you're not clearing every day, how many negative thoughts are being planted and reinforced in your mind every day?
Most of them.
40,000 or so?
Can I just add something? Seeing,
60,000.
so I learned through coaching here that you have a connection in your brain that creates this thought, right? This experience created this thought, right? So if you don't see the benefit in having that limiting belief, like having that limiting belief be an asset to a certain gain in your life, you're gonna continue the cycle. So what I learned is that you have to see what this fear of failure is helping me to become. So it's helping me to create more confidence, for example. Does that make sense?
So you're saying
Observing without affecting, basically.
So see the positive
oh,
in the limiting belief.
what benefit is the limiting belief giving me? What's
Correct.
the payoff?
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it'll just be a cycle of clearing your whole life. But if you don't see the gain in it,
Yeah.
you don't take action from that, then you're gonna keep clearing and never get anywhere.
Okay. Yeah, there is a payoff somewhere, right? So how do you find a limiting belief? So these are the limiting beliefs. Now how do you find them? How do you find your own limiting beliefs?
Asking weird questions, you said?
And what questions would you ask?
What's stopping us?
Why?
What's stopping me?
That's one I have.
Yeah, it's a good question. So one of the questions that I love, my clients all ask this is, what is the belief that's creating the reality? What is my belief that's creating my reality? So if you don't like your current reality, it's all driven by belief, right? We all believe that on some level, right? So what's the belief that's creating the reality? That's one way you can find a limiting belief. What other ways can you find a limiting belief? So questions.
Just asking why. If you think a thought, you say,
Okay, well, why? The 5 whys getting deeper and deeper
Oh.
until you find like
Yeah.
the root of it.
Continue to ask why.
Recognizing patterns.
How do you recognize a pattern?
Well, for example, like with the leads, when you happen to notice, oh man, all these Carl Moore leads, they're awful. Once you recognize that you're saying that, then you can then go in and ask why you're saying that.
You guys remember doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, did anybody not do this?
I
You haven't done it? Okay, we'll do it for fun. Let's do it together, just for fun. Okay, what hand do you want to grow? Right or left?
Right?
Well, I can hardly move I have shoulder surgery, so.
Oh, okay.
With the right one.
Okay, we'll do the right. Okay, so you go like this, and then you just look at whatever hand you want to grow, and you say grow,
Grow.
grow, 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 and then you want to picture it growing. Actually, can you see it? We'll say it 3 more times. Grow, grow, grow. Put your hands together like this, like this. So you go like this,
Yeah.
and you put them together. What happens? Did your hands grow?
Yes.
Okay, so there's beliefs. How subtle is that shift? It's so subtle. The reality is, if you're not looking for it, would you even notice a change has happened? No. And that's how limiting beliefs are working right now inside of you. If you're not very aware, there are shifts that could be the difference between you being on the leaderboard and being broke. Okay? How else do you find limiting beliefs?
Ask a coach.
Ask a coach. Well, yes. Don't laugh at that. Okay, what else?
So I was noticing some patterns that I didn't understand, so I decided to keep a junk journal just this week, and already it's helping me gain so much clarity as to what's going on.
Okay, how has the journal helped you gain clarity?
Well, it just helped me see what thoughts were coming up repetitively, especially the ones that I was pushing away and not paying attention to. And then I started asking more questions as to, questioning those thoughts and help me identify what the core thing was.
Yeah, journaling, I mean, it really does bring the awareness to the fingers are growing or they're shrinking, right? Okay, journaling, what else?
Just speak up.
What's that?
Nate, right there.
Nate?
Oh, I was just gonna make a comment on what Olivia was saying. When you write it down, it allows you to be more objective at looking at the belief and recognizing whether it's true or false. Obviously, if it's of a negative nature, you can see that it's false. Once you've identified that it's not true, then it's easy to let go. When you almost naturally let it go once you realize it's not true. It's like your body naturally just no longer holds on to it.
Okay, good. So, how many of you have done the check-in with yourself 10 times a day? So check in. What am I thinking? What am I feeling?
Oh, sorry, I just wanted to add, checking in isn't situational, it's just random. So rather than having it be, this happened, they didn't answer,
Right.
check in, how do I feel about that? It's
Right.
gonna feed a
Yes.
mental position, good or bad. So checking in randomly, for example, every time you need to go to the bathroom, or you can download apps, is gonna help you
Yeah.
gain more than as if it were just situational.
Good. So what does that mean? So checking in randomly throughout the day, the idea is you're getting a sample of your emotional state. That's the most important thing you can be focusing on. How do I feel? Because if you continue feeling the same way you felt yesterday, you'll continue to create your past. Period. You just will. It's like the elevator, right? If you're constantly showing up to work feeling the same way, right? Then you only have access to floor 1, whatever that floor is for you. If it's a floor you don't like, if it's a hoarder's house down there, and there's rats running all over, and it's sewage, and it's bad thoughts, and we're beating up on ourselves, it's like, okay, take the elevator up to the penthouse suite, right? What's a new state that's different from your past reality? And how do you get there, right? By changing your state. How many of you realize that can actually upregulate your epigenetics and increase your immune system by 50% virtually overnight? If you want to be healthy and happy and all of those things, change your state. How do you change a state? Fastest way to change state.
I Well, gratitude is really good. The second is the what if.
Okay.
Change your physiology.
What if I was there? How would that make me feel? And you immediately start moving into that.
I love that. What if? Have you ever asked yourself this question? What if I showed up as my best self today? I mean, today, if you woke up right now, or if you asked yourself this question right now, what if when I left this meeting, I showed up as my best self? What would my best self do right when I walk out this door? So I like the what if questions, gratitude. Cleve said
Change your physiology. And if you want to change it fast, change your physiology.
Okay. Physiology. What else? Music.
Watch a funny video.
Laugh, yeah.
Laugh.
Are we talking about here or just with anything?
Bless you.
I think, yeah, here and
Is,
here, there,
that's,
anywhere.
Walking or
Walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just any kind of,
Yeah.
Like
Here-
when Bill
my-
and Nate go for a walk. That's
Here,
very funny.
walking. So my question for each of you to kind of ponder is your state you feel today different from yesterday? Or are you just recreating yesterday today? Is your state today different? I mean, really ask yourself. Or am I just creating the same reality? Because the elevator is not going to move unless you move. You don't get to the penthouse suite by staying in the same low level thoughts, low level vibration. So where's your vibration? Is it the same or is it different? I think we're good. I think we've got some good weeks behind us. Are we great yet? Well, what would it take for you to be great? What would it take for me to be great, right? What do we got to do to get beyond our comfort into feeling things you've never felt before? If you want a new reality, you've got to get comfortable with feeling something new. So what do you want to feel that you're not feeling today? What do you want to feel that you're not feeling today?
Yeah, rich, I like that.
Rich?
Yes.
Okay. I want to feel rich. And how do you feel rich?
Gratitude, believing.
Gratitude. You're never closer to the riches of heaven than when your heart is filled with gratitude. Okay, why don't we feel rich? Because we're focused on lack. And when you're focused on lack, what do you attract?
Lack.
But then you say, but Adam, my reality is this. I've got lack. And then more lack shows up and you go, see?
Yeah.
You don't understand, Adam. My reality is this. And I go, I know. Be it unto you according to your faith. Be it unto you according to your belief. What do you believe? Well, you've been buying into lack. You showed up to work with lack energy, and then lack showed up in your life, and you went, ha-ha, see, everybody else is wrong except me. The ego always seeks validation, right? I'm right. I'm right. My belief is right. Really? Because all possibilities exist simultaneously. That's quantum physics. That's science has even come around to that idea. Everything exists simultaneously right now. What energy you bought into? What would you like to be in? What energy would you like to be into that will help you get to where you want to go faster? What energy do you want? Okay, how to find limiting beliefs. So how do you find a limiting belief? You're going to be the coach. Somebody who hasn't spoken yet. How do you find a limiting belief? How do you find a limiting belief?
Dig deep.
Dig deep. Okay. How?
Almost like act like it's not yourself, kind of look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, perspectives. That's a big one. If you can step outside of your paradigm, the only way I know how to do that is through meditation. It's the only way that I know of to get beyond your paradigm, your mind chatter, your stuff. If you're on the top of the ocean, all you feel, I talked to someone about this, I think it's Matt, all you feel is 40-foot waves. And it's crazy up at the top. But the average depth of the ocean, you know, it's 2 miles deep. That's 10,000 feet. You got 40 feet up here. That's crazy. You've got 10,000 feet of calm. If your life feels like here, it's because you're not tapping into this. And everybody's got it. If you want it, it's there.
I watched like an ad before a YouTube video the other day, and it like was for a meditation app, and it explained it like when you're trying to eliminate thoughts, you're like trying to chase them with a hammer, and it's like you need to remember to position yourself like you're on a rock on the side of a highway watching cars pass, and those are your thoughts. And once you run out into the middle of the highway trying to stop all the cars, of course you're gonna get overwhelmed, and all these cars are driving straight at you, and so you just need to learn to reposition yourself
it.
on that rock
Yeah.
on the side of the highway.
Yeah. I mean, thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot of people get confused with meditation is not thinking thoughts. Whoever said that is stupid. I mean, seriously. We think 80,000 thoughts a day, and our minds are going to constantly be thinking thoughts. Meditation is not getting rid of thoughts. It's separating yourself from the thought. Once you separate yourself from the thought and you can observe thought, life gets really still. All of a sudden you can start to see patterns. You can see things you didn't see before. So how do you clear it? So we know how to find them. We know the most common limiting beliefs. So here's my question. Before we go into that, how do you know you have these blocks? How do you know if you have a limiting belief?
You're breathing.
You're breathing. Yeah, we all got them. But how do you know, let's say, not enough? How do I know if I have that or not? I don't know. Do I really have that?
Look at your reality. Look at your experience.
Okay, that's a good one. If your beliefs are creating your reality, then yeah. Lack is showing up all the time in your reality, then there's a good chance you're buying in. All limiting beliefs have their roots in what?
Self-worth. Self.
Image.
Identity.
Image. Your self-identity.
Identity.
Yep. Every limiting belief has its roots in self-identity. It's how you see yourself. You might say, well, why is self-identity so important? Okay. I'm glad you asked that question. If you were the President of the United States of America today, how many of your thoughts, how many of your beliefs would be influenced by that belief? If you really believed you were the President of the United States, how many thoughts, emotions, beliefs would be influenced by that? All of them. So if all of them are influenced by your self-identity, my next question is, does your current self-identity line up with where you say you want to go? What sustains all blocks is our identification with them. You believe you're not enough. A lot of this stuff all ties into not enough. Self-worth, fears. Okay, how do you know if you have a limiting belief? So, shows up in your environment, what else?
How it makes you feel.
How it makes you feel. So, you know you have a limiting belief because you will
Feel it.
feel it. You'll feel it. You will feel. Okay, good. Now we can talk bad about Nate. Okay. You'll feel it, right? So I'm not enough. Here's my question. If you were to tune in, rate that on a scale from 0 to 10. 10 would be I really feel it, 0 would be not at all. If you're brutally honest, all personal development starts with brutal honesty. What number would you give yourself? 10 would be I feel it strongly, 0 would be I don't feel it at all. You don't have to say it out loud, you can just write it down.
Too high.
No money. That's, I don't have money. They don't have money. How strongly do you believe that? You say, but Adam, it's true. Okay, what came first, your reality or the belief? I believe it's your beliefs that create your reality more than your reality creates your beliefs. I know science is going to show that. It's going to prove that in profound ways in the not too distant future. I don't have enough time. Do I believe that? On a scale from 0 to 10. No one answers. Cost too much money. My self-worth. I'm not worth it. I'm not worthy. It's a comma. I'm afraid. Do I have that somewhere? Is there a fear? And what is the fear? Rejection? Leads? So you go through and rate these and see which ones pop out at you.
have somebody outside yourself pay attention to your language and give you some feedback on the words you're using, the phrases you're saying. Because ultimately, too often, we say things without even thinking about it, without even realizing it, that reflect what those beliefs are.
Okay. So everybody, I want you to come up with at least one that you can clear on today. One that stands out to you. I want you to think of the one that's costing you the most money. Which one do you think's holding you back the most out of those beliefs? Because I think there's about a 99.99% that everyone in this room has at least one of those on some level. So let me know when you got it. Give me a hand raise if you got yours. And you've rated it a number. Okay? Now how do you get rid of it? How do you get rid of a limiting belief? Anybody know?
Change it.
How do you do that?
Visualize.
Metaphor.
Visualizing metaphors. Okay.
Not fighting it.
Not fighting it. Okay. Would it be cool if you got a 5-step formula? You guys remember the 5-step formula? How do you clear a limiting belief? Who knows the 5-step formula? First, you identify it. Step 1. We've already done that. Check. Step 2 is you rate it. Notice when we rate it, we're always rating the emotional charge. What role do emotions play in limiting beliefs? Why are emotions so important?
It's the language of subconscious.
It's the language of the subconscious. What else? Emotions drive what? Behavior. Yeah. So what is fueling your limiting beliefs? For example, if you have a fear, and we take the emotion away from fear, or we have a lack of self-worth, but we take the emotion out of it, what power does that have over you? If the emotion's gone, right? Okay. So we rate it. Step 3 is what? Metaphor. Subconscious mind thinks in metaphors. Our dreams are often metaphors.
Could you give an example how to do it? In
Yep. I'll do that once I do the steps, and we'll. So re-rate is step number 4. Again, we're just rating the emotional charge. Step 5 is to repeat. So we're just repeating these steps until it's turned off to a what? What number are we trying to get to? Always. Always turning it off. Okay. So if everybody's got their limiting belief, let me get a volunteer. We'll do this. You don't have to tell me what your belief is, but all right, come on up. Remind me your name, brother.
Brendan.
Brendan. Okay, Brendan. All right. You have a seat. Okay. What number did you give your limiting belief?
A 9.
A 9. All right.
Yeah.
You're pretty good at visualization. How has that belief been impacting your life, by the way?
It's pretty prevalent.
It's a big one?
Yeah, it's a big one.
Okay. And when you think of that limiting belief, so we're just going to do a metaphor, and there's a lot of different ways you can do a metaphor. This is just symbolic, right? If I can just help his subconscious mind grasp an intangible thing, I'm going to make it tangible. Once that happens, then the subconscious has something to work with. Where do you feel it in your body, would you say?
A lot in my head.
In your head?
Yeah.
And if you would give it a color, what color is it? This first color that kind of pops.
Blue.
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 And if you give it a size like a basketball, beach ball, baseball, how big is it?
It's like a beach ball.
It's like this?
Yeah.
That's a really big one. Let me ask you this. How has that belief impacted your life?
In almost like every aspect, honestly.
How
it
so?
bleeds into most of them.
How so?
Like, I'll just explain it. So it's my self-worth.
Okay.
And like with like everything that I do, everything I try, it's like there's always going to be someone better than me. I don't know if I'll ever be able to make it. I don't know if I have the resources, the energy, the capacity to get good at anything like this. And so, yeah, most aspects of my life, like relationships, financial, business.
You give him a hand for having the courage to. That takes a lot of courage to say that in front of a whole group. I mean, seriously, that's huge. Thanks for doing that. So, and what it does is it also helps a lot of people that are feeling that, but maybe they're not at the point where they can be courageous about it. Because you know when you're courageous about it, that means you're ready to get over it, right? You're ready to be done with this. I want you to say, so your limiting belief, if we were to put it in a sentence, would be like, I'm not worth it, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to say that out loud and tell me the first thought that pops in your head. Just say, I'm not worth it, and tell me the first thought.
I'm not worth it.
First thought. What is it?
That's a lie.
That's a lie. Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right, go ahead and take a deep breath. And you've got the size and the shape and the color, right? I want you to just visualize that coming from where it is up and out of your mouth, okay? So I want you to really picture that coming outside of your body. And let me know when it's all the way outside of your body. You're able to just kind of pull it all the way outside of your body.
Okay.
Okay? And once it's outside of your body, just kind of notice, how does that feel to have that outside of you? And you're just watching it, you're looking at it. What happens when you look at it that way?
I feel like a lot of pressure's like been alleviated.
A lot of pressure comes off? Okay.
Yeah.
So isn't that bizarre? All you're doing is visualizing, but there's an actual response happening in his body. You can actually feel the difference. So now what I want you to do, just picture it right there, and I want you to just chop it up into little bitty pieces. I'm just going to chop, 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 chop. And as you do so, we'll throw in some Ho'oponopono for fun. I want you to just say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, as you chop it up. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Just chop it up. Chop, 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 chop. Chop it into teeny, teeny pieces. Once you kind of turn it to dust, right? Tell me when it's just, take your time, turn it all the way to dust to the point where it's totally gone. You're able to just kind of let it go because you choose to allow it. You choose to just let it go.
Okay.
Take a deep breath in. And what number would you give it now on a scale from 0 to 10? Just first number that pops in your head.
2.
A 2. Now often it's not going to come all the way down to a 0 on the first time, right? Which is why we have this step. What is this step?
Repeat.
Repeat.
Rinse and repeat.
So you do it again. So I'll do another metaphor, just show you there's lots of different metaphors. We can be real creative. With this metaphor, let's take, let's do a river. Let's do the river clearing. I want you to think of an object, first object that pops in your head.
A boat.
A boat. Okay. That boat is going to represent the limiting belief. Okay? What we're going to do, we're going to put it on a river, and I want you to just watch it sail away to the point where it just gets really teeny tiny. And you're able to just watch it just to the point where it's gone. You're able to just watch it go away just like that. And then you can take that object, the boat, put it on a big balloon, and just let it go. To the point where it gets to that point where you can't really tell if it's there or not. It just kind of, it's gone just like that. And then you got the boat, you got all that. Let's do one, let's put it in a black and white TV. Put the boat in a black and white TV, right? 2-dimensional, and just watch it get smaller and smaller. We do this, we take it from 3-dimensional to 2-dimensional because it'll naturally turn off the energy. So you just watch it get smaller and smaller to the point where it's completely gone. Let me know when it's completely gone. What number would you give if I'm not worth it now on a scale from 0 to 10? First number that pops in your head.
A 1.
A 1. And there's not much difference in a 1 and a 0, right?
Right.
Not much in, what would it feel like now to just let that completely go? What would that feel like to just let it go?
Feels super good.
Feel really
Yeah,
good?
yeah.
And you can picture that? And you can imagine what your past would look like if you just let all that go and that never was a part of your past. And you can imagine what your future's going to look like as you being anew. How many of you see his body language changing just being up here, right? So you kind of see a different energy coming about him. So what I want you to do is I want you to, when you think of feeling good enough, right, and you're worth it, like a 10, right? What's the first color that pops into your head when you think of that?
Orange.
Orange. We're going to take that orange color, and I want you to just imagine putting it in your mind, in your head, and spinning it. And then we're going to move it from your head down to your heart, right there in your heart. And we're going to spin it. Make it grow bigger, shoulders back, sitting up straight and tall. I want you to imagine you getting bigger, bolder, brighter, down to your toes, up top of your head. Everything just making it massively big. As you make it really, really, really big, how big can you make that orange color if you really wanted to? Make it huge.
Like,
yeah.
It's huge.
Could you fill up the whole room?
Oh, yeah.
The whole office building? The city?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The state?
Mm-hmm.
The country?
Yeah.
The world? You can make it that big, right?
Yeah.
And you can picture that in your mind right now?
Yeah.
Your whole body. And you're willing to accept that as your new reality?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So just a moment ago, what number were you on I'm not worth it?
Felt like a 1 a moment ago.
No, but when you started.
Oh, that was a 9.
You were a 9. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want you to try to get back up to a 9. Okay? I know.
You don't want to.
Yeah.
I heard your thoughts. You're like, what? I just let this go. Okay, I know. Okay, I want you to try. Just try. Get it up to a 9. Ready, set, go. I mean, try. $20, go. Get it up to a 9. $20. I'll give you $20. Get it up to a 9. What's
can't.
happening?
I can't.
Give him a hand. Keep going, right? This is something that needs to be conditioned. Okay, but this is a start where this whole spark just happened in your brain. You just had 2 neurons light up where you made a connection. That connection needs to be strengthened over time, right? So repeatedly do this exercise over and over. And it starts to create a whole new neural network, and before long, you will become that. And what would your life look like if you really, how you're feeling right now? By the way, how are you feeling now compared to when you started?
It's not even like comparable. Not even the same person.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what would your life look like if you were this person from this day moment forward?
Completely different. Yeah. A lot better.
Okay, give him a hand. Okay. Well, you guys, thank you for coming out and sharing your thoughts. There's a lot of really good thoughts that everybody shared. How to find limiting beliefs. We know how to clear limiting beliefs. We know the common limiting beliefs that happen in cells. And we know ABCs, which stands for always be
Clear.
All right, thanks. And close. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for coming.